I don't know about you, but life can sometimes hit you kind of hard, right? You're like going through things and then all of a sudden you turn around one day and poof, 7 years have gone by. And what'd you do with it? Welcome to Life's a Trip and I Forgot the Map, the podcast that embraces the messy, magical ride of figuring life out. I'm Misty, your host, your fellow wanderer. And here, we trade perfection for permission to grow, stumble, laugh, and start over. So grab your emotional snacks, be sure to buckle up. We're in for a ride. Let's hit the road. I don't know about you, but life can sometimes hit you kind of hard, right? You're like going through things and then all of a sudden you turn around one day and poof, 7 years have gone by. And what'd you do with it? Don't get me wrong, I've been really busy and doing things, but I was sitting here thinking this morning, it's been 7 years since I dated. 7 years. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm fine. In fact, I'm fantastic. It's given me a chance to really go inward and look at who I am, where I'm at in my life, and what I want out of it, and how I want to get there, and go through all those things, right? But man, 7 years went by so fast. It just flew by. And then I was sitting there thinking, what do I want my next 7 years to look like? Or even the next 2? A year. What's the next year is it going to look like? What do I want that to look like? Eventually I'd like to find my person. I did once. But I want somebody who chooses me and not is forced to be with me. So what my thought process today was, because I have friends who aren't with people either. And I was sitting there thinking, how have I managed all these years without becoming a serial dater or without doing the casual sex thing? And don't worry, I'm not getting into detail on the sex stuff. I mean, come on. I do have some dignity, integrity, self-respect, respect for others. Besides that, this is online. I mean, come on. So we're not going to get into the sex thing. But there is that need of being held, wanted, heard, cared about. And how did I deal with that? And how can other people deal with it? How do others deal with it? So I would like to know your opinion. How is it you handle those things if you're not with somebody and you're like, I really need the romance, the comfort, the security, the feeling like I'm wanted and loved without going out there and doing the serial dating or the casual dating or the hookups or the one night stands or the friends with benefits. Because I don't know about you guys, but those to me are not fulfilling. They don't make me feel loved, respected, wanted, cherished. What they do is give you an instant gratification. And I've said on platforms before, I'm not in it for the instant gratification. I want the long-term happiness, not the instant gratification. Because the instant gratification, all it does is fulfill you instantly, short-term, and then a lot of times, or most of the time, you end up feeling empty and guilty, neglected, used, feeling sorry for yourself, feeling bad for the other person. It's just not fulfilling long term. And what I do, and again, I'm telling you, I'm not getting into the sex. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that emotional fulfillment. Okay? And what I read the romance novels. Granted, mine are usually werewolf, vampire, human romance novels. I even watch dramas, right? The romantic comedies or the romantic dramas or something like that. Something that that calls my attention and that I can place myself into the main lead female character's position. In my case, it's the female. It doesn't really matter what the gender person is, but I can put myself into their position. And I know it's fantasy. I know it's not real. But I allow myself for the limited amount of time that I'm watching it or reading it or listening to it to put myself into that position and absorb the feelings and feel what that person's feeling, the good, the bad, the ugly. I can feel the the romance and the being chosen, and I can feel those things. And therefore, I don't need to go out and look for somebody else. And another thing I do is I look inward and I'm like, okay, so I need to feel seen and I need to feel loved. How can I give that to myself? Self-care. I go take a hot bath. It can even be a hot bubble bath, candles lit, whatever. Something to make me feel good and loved. I can say, do my hair different and put on makeup and dress nice for a day. That does it. It builds my confidence, makes me feel like I'm somebody special, even if it's just to myself. That's what really matters. I can take myself out to dinner and a movie. I can give myself a gift, buy myself flowers. There's a lot of different things that we can do for ourselves. We don't need to look for the outside recognition or fulfillment, right? I'm not saying give up on being with somebody else or dating or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying being self-fulfilled and being loved fully and truly by yourself is what's going to bring in the other person. Because you're not out there giving your attention and everything to everybody else. You're more likely to attract what you really want, what you truly deserve, because you're setting yourself up and holding yourself to a higher standard, which makes you more attractive to somebody else. So 7 years without being with somebody else or dating somebody else seems like a really long time. But how often do we get into these relationships that are unfulfilling and we feel neglected, not heard, unseen? We're just put down and treated badly. It's not that the other person is bad, it's just they're not being fulfilled. So therefore they lash out in ways towards you that don't feel good for either person. So when we look inward and we start fulfilling our own needs, when somebody else does come into our life, we're not coming off as desperate. We're not clinging to something and trying to make it fit. Because when somebody does come in and it's the right person, it's going to fit automatically. It's going to fit easily. Let's be honest. So it's not that you need to go out and start, not dating somebody else or not looking for that person. But when you're self-fulfilled so much in yourself, the other person is a bonus. It's like, I think I heard it from Bashar, and I've heard it from other people too, I think. But you shouldn't be looking for somebody else to complete you, because when you want to go and be with somebody, you should be whole on your own, and they are whole on their own. And then when you come together, you're fully compatible and fully giving 100% of yourself to the other person, and they can give 100% of themselves to you. So yeah, not really looking for the quickie or the instant gratification. What I want and what I'm looking for, I think we all truly want and deserve. We want that true life partner, but without being fully ourselves and fully complete in every aspect in ourselves, how can we bring that in? So I want you guys to kind of let me know what you guys do, because I'm always looking for ways to improve myself, to learn, to grow. But I want to be a full 100% me and not feel like when the other person comes along that I'm trying to force something, and that it fits naturally, easily, and it's right. So let me know in the comments what you guys do, so I can learn from you too, and we can maybe learn from each other, so that when we do find that person, we're fully ready. Because like I've said before, this trip doesn't come with a map. And if you came with instructions, maybe you should share them, because the rest of us don't have instructions. We don't have a user's manual. At least I don't. And if I did, I wouldn't remember it anyway. Life's messy. Enjoy it. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of Life's a Trip. If you're figuring it out as you go, same here. Hit follow, leave a review if you're feeling generous. And remember, you don't need the whole map. You just need the next step.